Hey, everybody. Given Will just an extra minute to log on this morning. Looks like we've got a bunch rolling in. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead, put them in the Q&A or put them in the chat, and we'll go ahead and get a queue going. So it looks like we have our one pre-submitted question, which I went ahead and put in the chat, and we'll be here to answer that one in just a second. Again, if anybody else has any questions, please feel free, raise your hand, put your question in the chat or in the Q&A, and I'll get you added to the queue. Hey, Will. I'll put my sharing so Will can start his.
Hey, Caitlin, I'm here.
Hey, happy Monday. Got us.
Yeah, that morning. Yep, sorry, everybody. It's been quite the Monday here. Let me get my screen up. Caitlin, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Right. And that's not what I wanted. So can you help me figure out what's up first here, please?
Leia is first.
You get that question posted for me?
In the chat.
You'll need to repost it. When you join late,
gotcha.
It doesn't load the previous chat content for you. Apologies, everybody.
All right.
Kind of day. Does decisions have a built-in way to count the number of times that certain conditions of a workflow are triggered? For instance, I want to make a rule that says that every 100th case that is of the same subtype should be handled differently than the other 99. For context, one of 100 cases needs to be audited. Okay. See, this is probably a tough one. Participants view. Let's let Leah's on. So Leah, go ahead and so you want to have you need, like, I think define condition. Is it just, it's not every instant. So it's not just that a workflow that gets called 1,000 times a month, you need to capture 10 results for, right? It's like, it depends on the path that they take.
Correct. So depending on, so this is what we're trying to do. For every 100th case that would otherwise be auto-approved, we want that particular case to fall out to be manually reviewed. So we actually have something similar but more complicated set up for a different project that we can do. I just wanted to see if and I was not involved in setting that up. I was just going to see if there's any kind of simpler built-in way to do something like that.
You added something, I don't know, it's gotten much use, called Champion Challenger. Let me see here really quick. I'm going to kind of explore out loud if this might work. We added this at some point. don't know it's gotten much use. Let me just create a flow here. And in that flow, I'm going to put a subflow. I'm going to create an empty subflow. Is it only on rules? Where did champion challenger go? Champion challenger for rules. Rule step. Is it gone? It's only on rule sets? Should be able to be run on all rules. My understanding. Oh, selection type has to change to champion challenger. Right. Okay. Duh. A champion challenger type AB output, challenger percentage. So I think this needs to be tested. Admittedly, I have never personally used this before, but we added a capability to do this. Now let's assume you have a flow and this is your flow here. I think same thing we could do the same thing on the subflow here, which would be selection type champion challenger and pick or create challenger, right? Okay. So here, like, let's assume this is your main flow and you're calling your like a rule or your subflow logic here. Is challenger comes out true. Interesting. You get a default. What you could do, and you might look at some of these champion challenger documents to confirm, but you can have 20% of the time the flow is specified here. Like I'll create a new one called champion version 2. Oh, good grief. This means is that 20% of the time that this step gets called, it's going to call this version. And so you can toggle that percentage up and down.
That'll work. I forgot. I've read about this in the documents before and I forgot that it existed, honestly, but I think it might.
Now the question is, what's the difference between your two flows, and do you have to keep them? Like, are you making changes in one versus the other? What do you need from the 10% that flow through the challenger version? The idea was to give you the opportunity to be running data and then test out different things sort of organically. Or is this more of like a QA function for you, or is it more of a data analysis function?
More of a QA function.
So now we talked about previously kind of saving off all of your execution data for passing it around to do like sort of to do so you can improve your auto approve rate.
Yeah, this is unrelated actually, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but I wonder if the same pattern might be easier there. Like, is it a different flow, or like is it just that you want to make an assignment for a user to QA that particular request in some way?
Basically just be a different output. So there would be like a create data step following that or something. So that particular case would just instead of a suggestion of auto approval to be passed back to the system. It would just be a suggestion for it to fall out for manual review. So it'd really just be the outcome would be different, not necessarily a whole nother flow.
I see.
But
yeah, this might work. You know, theoretically here, it does give you is challenger. So theoretically, you could even have it call the same flow and only output, and then have something here that like checks the is challenger true, in which case it overrides the result and says send for manual review.
yeah, I'll definitely play around with it.
So I don't know, like it, yeah, where it's getting this, how it's managing this 10%, I don't really know. Another thing would just be a little bit more bespoke in your flow. Like if you are saving off in a data structure or in rule audit history, each execution, a quick check that says like, you could say like, you know, one divided by the number by 100. And if the outcome's not 1, or if the outcome's not a whole number or something, then pass along normally, otherwise auto override. You could just do a little bit of math just to see if you can get, if you're on the 100th result. And then if you are, override whatever output data you're going to send and say, you know, send for manual review.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Thank you. We can try both of those.
Okay. Okay, anonymous attendee. Can decisions use separate IDPs at the same time for single sign-on? Yeah, in fact, we've added new stuff for this in versions of 8, so you can actually have it. In fact, you could see it on the support portal login. Let's see. If I search SSO and release notes, and let me go to advanced search, and I only want to look at version 8. Setting up, configuring login page. Yeah, maybe it's. Yeah, here, for example, you can see this is what it looks like to have Okta and Jump Cloud and local authentication all being, you can support a local account, an Okta account, or Jump Cloud in this example. So yeah, and we do now in current versions of 8 support multiple IDPs. Anonymous. All right, what else what other questions do we have today? Any other pre-submitted questions from anyone today, Caitlin?
Nope, we did just have one come in, the Q&A.
Can you use 2 versions of Okta? We'll find our Okta module. Sorry. I think it all depends on if the Okta module settings lets you define multiple providers, then possibly. So Okta settings, edit. So I don't know, doesn't look like it right now. It looks like there's only an object for Okta. That's not like an array of any kind. Hooked off of SAML. So do you point it at SAML? No, you don't. It just leverages SAML. So I don't think that you can support multiple Okta providers right now. Yeah, I don't think you can. You can support multiple types of SSO, but it looks like not 2 versions of Okta. Probably even 2 different. Maybe you might just be maybe you can just connect to it via vanilla SAML instead of the bespoke Okta module is that I don't think you are required to use the Okta module if you can get all the information, in which case you could have multiple SAML providers and you could name them differently. But Okta itself out of the box, you won't be able to, unfortunately. It does not appear so. Okay, what else we got today? Session persistence, interesting. David, and go ahead, man, what you got?
Hey, what's up, Will? As you were scrolling through there, I noticed you guys have a Plaid module now. Do you guys have documentation on that, or do you have experience using that?
Some people do for sure. I can get you, let's see. If we don't, I will get someone who knows. Oh, okay, wonderful. If we don't, of course we don't. I think our solutions team has used it before. Ask really quick. I can get some documentation put together for you though, man.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it personally.
Gotcha. Yeah, we experimented with that a year or two ago, but that module probably doesn't exist in our version of 6. I was just curious what its capabilities were.
Yeah, let me, Caitlin, can you please own making sure, I just reached out to solutions team. Let's make sure we follow up with Morgan and Sin. I believe they've used Plaid before for some of the previous work for Tomato. And so if we could get some information about that, either into a document or just facilitate a call with David and possibly Morgan or Sin. I'm not sure who's the right person on our end to have that conversation.
Okay.
Please.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry, man. I don't have anything.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
But definitely can get you on a call with someone who's used it before.
Sure.
Install it and just see what functions it might install. Not save type. What's wrong with it? Maybe it's broken. Okay, Plaid has been installed. Let's see here. I'm guessing, does Plaid have a settings object? Plaid has a settings object. I point it at a URL. Okay, interesting. And if we look at it in a flow, please, if anyone has any other questions while I just poke around on this, please let me know. 130. Let's go here. And let's look under integration, Plaid. There's Plaid. Holy smokes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Employment verification, get employment verification, employer. So if we look at that,
Oh, wow.
body,
It looks like it has all their endpoints in here.
It has a lot, yeah.
Interesting.
Now this is a GitHub module, so theoretically, if you guys are on 6, you could get the code, recompile it against framework, assuming it's not core specific, and then download it if you really wanted it. Like this is a GitHub module, so
okay.
Not it's the source code's available on GitHub. There's a lot of stuff in here, and we have no documentation for it. So let me get that fixed.
Cool. I guess I got one more for you.
Yeah, please.
We do a lot of stuff between like our clients and banks, and a lot of it is dumping a file onto an SFTP site.
Okay.
And some of these banks are updating their, I guess, their protocol and their encryption algorithms for PGP and SSH keys. Do you know if 8 supports, I guess, the newer or newest, latest and greatest stuff for that? Because I think in 6, like, I'm not sure exactly what mechanism it uses to be able to do or detect the encryption algorithm to do what it needs to do.
Mhm.
But I'm just wondering, like, if they update that, are we going to be scrambling to do something if whatever our implementation in 6 doesn't support whatever newer encryption algorithms they have? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. The question is, the Rebex, I think it's, see, we use Rebex for this, for like SFTP. And but we haven't added, I know a customer needed us to, we added a custom step recently for someone to do like SHA-356, because we're doing SHA-256.
Right.
Why they needed that in its relationship to your comment, I'm not sure, but it's the
Mhm.
only specific encryption thing I've seen recently. Not that I have eyes on everything anymore. That's a good question. I don't know. Likely worst case scenario is needing to, I think all of this encryption stuff comes from the host OS more than it does the application itself.
Okay.
Like, I think, like, so thinking like with, and it's not exactly an answer, but like, so TLS, right? Like, we don't code in TLS. We read whatever when you set us to secure, we will use the highest level of TLS that the host OS is allowed to or configured for. So it's like an inheritance type thing. And I think most of our encryption stuff is the same.
Okay.
Likely the worst case scenario is needing to write a custom step and deploy it. It's probably, if we're not in a place to be able to upgrade, that's probably the worst case scenario you're dealing with there.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
We should be pretty easy to do, I think. But yeah, I think that's probably, given some of the complexities there, that's probably a better fit, I think, for us to task the support team with.
Okay. Cool. Appreciate it.
Caitlin, if we could, I guess, what's the support ticket to submit for that? Confirm what encryption are current versions of SFTP support, or I don't even know what we would ask the support team on that, David. Right way to put that question to them.
I'll make something up and see what they say. No, I'm kidding.
We could submit that. I mean, I just don't know. Do you have a specific example or maybe like a document that you could send over to us that we could?
No, not yet.
Forward?
I mean,
okay.
I just gotta, I'm on some of the email lists for our clients, and they said the primary one is, I think, JP Morgan Chase. They said they were going to be updating their protocols to only accept certain like newer, better encryption algorithms and stuff like that. Which, I mean, as far as I know, I think as long as they generate a key using the right method and algorithm, I would think it should work.
Okay.
But that's not happening till later this year. So I mean, I think.
Yeah, if anything that you could forward over to us, so we could actually like review and just we would appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, I'll find that email. I'll just submit a support ticket and say, hey, like, is it possible that are we supporting this, or do y'all support it? Yeah.
We can dig it up. We can dive in once we can some details. It might be the kind of thing we're not even aware of, so we don't even know that it's coming down the pipe at this point.
Gotcha. All right, that's all I had for today, I think.
What's this? You guys are spinning. How common is that to like pull files from and write files back to SFTP?
Oh man, we're doing it with probably 10 or 15 clients at this point. A lot of them need to. Basically, what happens is they don't want to print checks in-house anymore, so they want to outsource that to their bank, and they'll generate a massive text EDI file. They'll send that to the bank and just have the bank print the checks based on that data. So the banks will be hosting an SFTP site, and usually we'll need to log into that using an SSH key to authenticate instead of just a username and a password. And then sometimes the banks require that the file be signed
Mhm.
and or encrypted with a PGP key.
Okay. And are you doing that all like automated, like back end, or is that like is there like a user interface skin that you've had to design up for that?
No, we're doing it through a flow. We're just aiming it. So there we have them save the file to a network share that's
Mhm.
secured, and then we have the decision service account with control over that. So he's looking at it on a schedule, and he just picks it up and drops it on the FTP site. So it's all automated. And I guess recently our devs have come up with a way to integrate like an inertia process where they're going step by step. There's a step that actually generates the file, and now we have a way to kick off a flow that basically grabs the raw file, signs it, and puts it in a protected directory so they can't tamper with it at all. And then once that process is finalized, it fires another flow to send it to the bank immediately. So it's not even on a schedule anymore. It's when they finalize the process.
Gotcha. Cool. That sounds cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we use it for.
Yeah, that's cool stuff, man. Yeah, we found someone who knows Plaid, and we'll get you some information about it from them.
Okay, cool.
All right. Anything from anybody else today? All right. Nothing from anybody? Sorry for loud typing at home in a slightly empty room. So
Do you have a mechanical keyboard?
no, but it sounds like one in this empty room. I just moved, and so my new office is quite empty, and it sounds like a mechanical keyboard. It's so loud. Okay.
Elliot
All right.
just
Thank.
replaced my keyboard in the office, and I'm going through the same thing.
Yeah, I can't
So
stand
loud.
mechanical keyboards personally. They're too loud. Lots of people love them though. Alrighty, I guess that's everything for today. Who's in tomorrow, Dylan?
Yeah, Dylan's in tomorrow, and then you are back on Wednesday.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a great day.
Have a good one, y'all. Thanks for coming.